Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. It's the grand finals of HomeStory Cup, and this man coming from the upper bracket. What an absolute monster, GUMIHO. And who thought he would be here? With the lineup we have at this tournament, so many amazing players falling by the wayside, but this guy has just been unstoppable. Unfortunately for him, he's facing the world champion, the best Terran in the world, who has decided to appease the fans and play Protoss in a tournament where 6 out of the top 8 players were Terran, 1 Zerg, 1 Protoss, and they're both obviously eliminated at this point. Clem has said, you know what, I've been laddering a ton of Protoss recently. I've been having a lot of fun with it. He's like top 10 EU ladder with Protoss. And he said, you know what, yeah, let's play Protoss. He apparently, I think he played Protoss against GUMIHO in the qualifiers for HomeStory Cup. Lost 2-1 there in a narrow match. But looked like it was very evenly matched. You know, it was a very close 2-1. And playing Protoss here is crazy. I mean, everyone was like, oh man, another tournament, Protoss just getting kind of wrecked. There weren't that many great Protoss players, but there was also a few stories of like a Laser and Lambo and Showtime. Germans, the 2 Germans, the Polish player falling, Rainer barely falling in the groups. Like, there's a lot of players because you only get 2 out of 6 players out of each group, and the groups were really stacked. You have GUMIHO, Clem, Serral, Rainer, Maru, all these god tier players. It's just like so many players, especially from Zerg and Protoss, barely didn't make it through to that top 8, which was such a brutal format. Now, for those who don't know, GUMIHO, because he's come from the upper bracket, if he wins this best of 5, he wins the tournament. On the other hand, if Clem wins this best of 5, he still... all it does is activate a second series. It essentially knocks GUMIHO out of the upper bracket and means Clem needs to win another best of 3 after that best of 5 to win the series. So it's going to be very hard for Clem. On the other hand, I kind of feel like Clem is a favorite in TvT, even though GUMIHO's beaten him earlier on in this tournament in a TvT matchup. And of course, I don't really, you wouldn't expect Clem to stick with Protoss here unless he's just even more amazing than I've already heard. I've heard that he's as good or better than Rainer was with Protoss. And because he's a Terran player, he should be a lot better in the PvT matchup. Whereas Rainer was good versus Terran, not great versus Terran. He was great against Zerg, right? You're always going to be better at the matchup against your main race with your off race. So we'll see how good Clem is at taking out a fellow Terran player. He's going to come in with a couple of Adepts, Twilight Council, and a shield battery behind it. Very safe play for Clem. Not taking any risks, and I think that makes sense because GUMIHO's I don't know if we want to call him a cheeser, but he's definitely a highly aggressive player. He's got 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions coming out. 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions should be able to beat these Adepts pretty hard. The Adepts do focus fire. You got to be able to kill that Adept to take care of it. Okay. Ooh, 2 Reapers though. 2 Reapers for an Adept. You can see cost for cost. That's a great trade for Clem. This Adept has barely been touched. And with a Stalker and a shield battery, he should be just fine. He's going to try and get another hit or 2 on the Hellion, and then shade back to the battery for safety. Very nicely played. Look at that. You can just heal up at the battery, get back into the action. GUMIHO's been stopped in his tracks so far in this early game. Depths and Stalkers hanging on out. Tanks and medevacs are on the way. Marines as well. Now, I figure everyone's probably already been spoiled on these finals in terms of who was in the finals and that sort of stuff. I will be posting a lot of the other series. There is a double elimination format, so I will specifically not necessarily try too hard to... Sorry, I thought... Guys, is he attacking his own Hellion? Okay, no, that was the hit point of the rocks. Okay, I was like, oh my gosh! No, he is repairing the Hellion. But we will be posting the rest of the kind of playoff series that were, impactful, high impact, interesting series between the top players over the next few days. And, slowly unravel the rest of the top 8, which I'll probably mostly do in order. But hopefully there's not, direct spoilers. If you guys care a ton about spoilers, just keep in mind, there are upper and lower bracket matches. If you just click on a video, you won't know necessarily if they lose there or if they lose later on. So hopefully it at least keeps a bit of indecision for you all as you watch these games. But really cool to have a tournament. It was, of course, played on a mod that fixed the Cyclone bug. Hellion Reaper comes in, kills an Adept on the left side. Tank and Marine drop. What the hell? That's cool, man. The tank gets a bunch of probes there. I think it will automatically shoot that guy as well. That's 4 probes and a pylon. Just on siege and leave, right? Oh, he's staying a bit long. GUMIHO? Oh my gosh. Okay, he was trying to bait shots with the medevac, but he ends up leaving them there. If he unsieges the tank on the left, that would have been way more effective. He only gets 2 more probes to the Reaper and the Alien as that Reaper gets yeeted off the side of the map. At the end of all that, that's not that much damage, right? 6 probes might sound like a lot, but units lost is still in Clem's favor. His 3rd base is almost done. And you might think, well, equal workers is good for Terran. Not really, because look how much GUMIHO's committed. His 2nd and 3rd barracks has just started. Stim, shields, the scary point where Terran's actually doing proper pressure is minutes away in this game. All he's got in the interim is a Raven. He could do a little Marine drop or something to try and sneak around, but that'd be very dangerous because he's so light on units at home. And these Stalkers are in the front. They're going to look for a tank snipe. Super worth. Super worth. Doesn't even lose a Stalker. Great tank snipe. Bad position for GUMIHO. That was way too risky, man. He should have had like a tank here maybe and a tank up here, but he goes for the risky move and now he gets punished. A couple of SCVs go down in behind the natural. Raven comes in, gets shut down. Great multitasking for Clem. That's the thing about Clem and Raynor. When they off-race, you never get the idea that their multitasking is stressed. Sometimes they miss something. They get surprised by an attack. They get caught out not knowing what to do in a situation or not doing the best option or playing a bit too standard. But their multitasking is exceptional, and that's why they are so good with that off-race. Now, Raven could come in and do some stuff. Observer gets taken out. GUMIHO still hasn't started Stim or Shields. It's 6 minutes 20. Like, GUMIHO just doesn't have any play from here, guys. He's going to sneak a Marine drop out. Stim and Shields starting at 6.5 minutes. Clem has a free pass to 4th base. Clem can go 2 more gases. He can make Robo Bay. He can take a 4th base. Honestly, there's just no threat from Terran right now. GUMIHO desperately trying to do something to surprise Clem. But Clem, he's all over this game so far. He's got an observer seeing that there's no 3rd command center. And he's already up 10 plus workers and could get even further ahead. Raven goes for a single auto turret. He's going to go for another one to try and delay a little bit of mining. Don't think this is very high impact. As long as Clem pulls back to the battery, he shouldn't be losing any units. And we can see that Raven, I guess a second probe. Oh, Marines in the main. Non-stim Marine drop actually getting way more damage. No recall available right now. Oh, that is a bummer. He just lost a bunch more probes and a pylon goes down. Delaying the upgrade. Good force field. That was a cute force field. The Marines are about to slip into the medevac. Stop them from doing it. Does allow that medevac to take a lot more damage. Raven's going to go for yet another auto turret. GUMIHO, this is so crucial. This is absolutely essential. If he was not doing this damage, he would be screwed. Because like I said, Clem has a free pass to a 4th base, which he's still got. He's still up 5 workers even after all that damage. The 3rd command center has just started. GUMIHO's early harassment did not pay off. Clem is in an... He wasn't in an amazing position. He's still in a decent position. And I am just amazed at how good his PvT is, especially against a dynamic kind of dicey player like GUMIHO. Does a lot of cheeky build orders. We've got 9 gateways up, guys. Looks like a 10th one will be transforming once that pylon does build there and repower it. Robo Bay coming in. 4th gas coming up for Clem. Very gas-centric. Only 61 probes. He's got an observer over there that will see this prism. Good blink backs. Does lose a stalker. How many stalkers has he lost in total this game? Only 2. Wow, that's actually amazing. That medevac Marine drop on that left side unloading. We've got a prism coming in now. Zealots will unload in this base, but with the Marines and Marauders there, not really going to find the mark. Just going to say, okay, you need to build a Viking now, and you can see the Viking does queue up to get rid of this prism. Otherwise, you can hide in the back all day. Clem's just going to dance it around. A lot of Protoss players won't continually micro this, but for Clem, he's like, dude, I have unlimited APM. Of course I'm going to do this. He wanted to pick off his SCV, but the medevac saves it. Coming in to try and cancel the 4th base, but the 4th base is on the right side. First Colossus is on the way. No extended thermal lance just yet. This prism's still dancing around. Finally. Oh, a turret comes up, and he drops some Marines and Marauders in that main. Tries to get himself a Marauder, but as he sees the Viking, he's just going to leave those Zealots there. Can he finish the Marauder off? Yes, he can. It stimmed itself into one-hit territory. Zealot Stalker coming in. Force fields going down, but not enough units for Clem to take that fight. That's a problem. Auto turret does take out a Stalker there. Should get itself a probe as well. Indeed, it does. The Raven, though, has been F2'd home because these Zealots are still in the main base. Did the Prism go back in? Prism just went back in and died. I thought he'd bring that home. Bit of chaos on both sides of this game, but Clem finds himself up 15 workers. If he can defend the army, he should be good. But his army sucks. I say that with a question mark. I'm like, it's not great. It's a few Stalkers, Zealots, a couple sentries. Force fields could be clutch. His 2nd Colossus is on the way, as is extended thermal lance, but it's not ready just yet. So Clem, down 25, 30 army supply. He needs to just mass units, Zealots, maybe a few small counterattacks. Force fields could buy him a little bit of time. That one doesn't do much. Blinking forward. Oh man, that's a dangerous blink. Trades his Zealots. He does get 3 Vikings though. Worth it to get the Vikings, but he cannot fight without Zealots. He's pulling back right now. He's going to need to use energy recharge on one of those sentries so that he has more force fields available. Look at that tank Marauder spread. GUMIHO takes position. And that's a dead 4th base, I do believe. Clem trying to hang on here, seeing if he can break out of this position. Stalker's blink to the left, take out the tank. That medevac looks very exposed there, but the Stalker's not being targeted on it. Widowmine does go down. The Stalkers and Colossus need to get back. As long as you keep the Colossus alive, there's hope here for Clem, but without the Colossus, you are done for. Stalker's starting to fall. That's a big problem, dude. That's a big problem. Yes, the Marauder count is out of control. Up 40 army supply. They are heavily wounded. So GUMIHO has to be careful with stimming right now and fighting around this corner. Does get rid of the Observer, though. He's going to pull back and heal, which is the wise decision. 4th Command Center building, 60 probes to him, 74 for the Protoss. Stalkers come forward. Staggered Blink Micro there for Clem. Clem's 3rd Colossus is about to come out. He's got an armor upgrade coming in. Super worth going armor. That's much faster to upgrade a level 1 upgrade than it is to go for level 3 attack. 3 drops going into the main base right now. Clem, does he see it? No, it's in the shadows. Oh, this is going to be devastating. This is going to be devastating. I think this might just be a checkmate. You're already down 15 army supply. You lose your +1 army. You lose 3 gateways at the same time. GUMIHO's going to pressure that right side. He's just going to have to disengage on this side. As long as he gets these units home, I think he's fine. And Clem is not recalling because the Nexus is going down. The Nexus goes down. The Stalkers are chasing this army. Clem refusing to defend his base. He is instead just focusing on attacking. 13 probes going down, though. He's losing his entire main base. He needs to do big damage. He does chase down the Vikings very effectively. That medevac has not properly unloaded yet. GUMIHO trying to pull back to defend his 3rd base. Recall finally coming in. GUMIHO picks up and loads up and boosts away. Does lose 1 full medevac. Great snipe there. But look at that. He instantly unloads. And he scans and he says, I know you want to get back to that right side, but you can't do it. At the same time, a Colossus goes down on the right. Dude, this is huge for GUMIHO. He's going to take out another 2 gateways here. And he should be trying to pick up and leave. Oh, he's overstayed. He's overstayed. This is a big waste of units. That's like a lot of units. But oh, he gets out 3 Marauders. I did not think he would save anything. GUMIHO, lucky to get those units out of dodge. 4th Command Center's floating over for him. He's got himself +2 attack on the way, but double Robo Colossus rebuilding here. You know what? Clem didn't lose too much. He's actually got 8 gateways still. I mean, the armor upgrade being delayed in the main base is rough. He's back to 3-base mining. Very similar income on both sides. He's trying to rebuild on the right. He's not bothering to rebuild the main base. He's just going to repower some of those gateways, adding these pylons, and at the same time, he's going to attack the right side. Double drop goes down the left. That's right. GUMIHO's not done attacking that main base. He knows there's valuable infrastructure there, and it is open wide. Easy pickings for the Terran. But 4th Command Center getting damaged. A bit of Marine Marauder's going to go over. GUMIHO could take this fight, but of course, if you don't stutter step because you're distracted, it can be a problem. Stalker Colossus splitting GUMIHO's army. GUMIHO's in trouble right now. He did counter drop at the same time. He's doing big damage, but the medevac's starting to get chased down as well as the bio on that right side. On the left side, like I said, if you don't micro, Zealots do really well versus Marine Marauder, and GUMIHO doesn't quite have the multitasking of a player like Clem. Clem taking advantage of that right now. Marauders in the main. Can they take out the Colossus? If they get the Colossus, it might be worth, but he's not going to be able to. The Colossus defends. The main base survives. I do think he lost his forge there, though. Yes, he lost his forge. No +1 armor kicking in. Caduceus Reactor coming in for medevac energy for GUMIHO. Marauder drop behind the 3rd base. This game is pure chaos right now. I can't believe Clem didn't pull back to defend his main and just pushed forward, and yet is actually finding good fights. Look at the units lost tab. It's not that bad for Clem, despite losing all that stuff in the main, because his army versus army fights are so good, and he keeps focusing the Vikings. Without enough Vikings, you cannot handle the Colossus. It's not going to be able to get the work done. The Colossus killing the command center. Every SCV on the 3rd goes down, and GUMIHO has to tap out. Clem, I could not believe it, man. This map is hard as Protoss to defend that main base. I really thought this would be a GUMIHO favored map because Doom drops in the main would be so scary. Clem's like, yeah, that is scary, but what if I just ignore them and hunt your army down on the right side of the map, mercilessly pushing the 3rd? Great play for Clem. All right, guys, Clem in the top right side, sticking with Protoss on ley lines. And that is kind of crazy, man. But when you win a game like the last one, why not? This map, I think, is better for PvT. And, you know, I really wonder if GUMIHO tries to play macro. I can't imagine he does. GUMIHO is such a specialist, cheeky, cheesy, weird timings. I mean, that attack in that last game, sieging a tank in the back of the main, pretty cool play. I think if he unsieged and left, kept his tank and 4 Marines alive, it would have been a much harder game for Clem. But losing the tank and the 4 Marines in the main, just getting the medevac out was pretty costly. I think he only got 1 Stalker for that. All right. Second pylon on the natural here. It is a core first build. Makes sense. Clem's playing really safe. You'll notice that Clem plays like max packs. And when asked about it, he says like, oh, I like playing Protoss like max packs. And you'd think like, but come on, max packs play is like such a sick, refined style. Clem knows max packs builds so well, and he plays a very similar style. Now, the downside of this style is it is, you know, real fine line of greed. Very standard, very predictable. And I think GUMIHO, if he can come up with some really special timing attacks, could definitely punish him. So it looks like we're going to see a quick factory swap over. Might see an early Hellion Dive. Or maybe a fast 4 Widow Mine drop could be good. Clem is max packs. No, I was actually, a lot of people during this tournament, when Clem was playing Protoss at any point in it, we were all kind of saying in the Twitch chat, hey, no one's ever seen them before. Is Clem just playing on 2 computers at once against himself, like every week in the finals when we see Clem versus Max Packs of the weekly cup? Like, it could be, right? That's why we've never seen him in person. Starport coming in here. Command center on the high ground. Gonna go straight Cyclone. Okay, early Cyclone. This is interesting. I mean, the Cyclone's a very good unit for just pushing back the vision, shuts down Oracles, Phoenix pretty hard, but it's a big expense. And this is a delayed natural, right? Does it matter that much? Not really. You're only on 24 workers. In terms of getting it to the natural right now, you're not oversaturated, but you did delay, you know, getting into the situation where you're dropping mules on the natural and all that. So we want to drop a mule and start building SCVs. He's not doing it right now. A little distracted. There we go. They'll start lifting that down. Marines coming down. You don't want to lose any of these Marines, though. As long as you keep them alive when the medevac's here, it's probably fine. Cyclone, he's hiding the Cyclone. Cyclone's trying to come out. GUMIHO trying to run his Marines away. He'd like to catch these. And he should lock onto the one that... No, wrong. I think that's the wrong Adept. I would have gone for the other Adept, but it looks like he does have enough lock-on time to kill it anyway. Well done. All right, guys. Second and third gate with a Robo. It looks like he was planning to go 2-gate Blink Robo. Maybe was planning the third from the start, but especially after seeing that Cyclone, decides to do it. Now, the Marines are heavily damaged. 7 Marine drops going to move towards that main base. Has he already queued it up? Looks like, no, he's just clicked it up here towards the third base. And it is going to be a very quick third attempt here for Clem. Already moving out there at the 4-minute mark. A couple of Stalkers and an Adept on the natural. Stim's on the way already. That's a bit of an earlier Stim this time, isn't it, guys? Second and third barracks much faster than game 1 as well. So Clem's going to have to deal with a scarier mid-game where Terran's actually in his face. This Marine drop hiding in the shadows. Uh-oh. Nice unload here. Blink. Still about 15 seconds away. Good probe pull, though. Very good probe pull. Really nicely played by Clem. He should be able to defend this if he brings everything up. He's actually left a few Stalkers in his natural. Doesn't want to pull everything out of position. He's going to lose the Adept, but he does take out a Marine or 2. Not too bad. An Adept for 2 Marines there is pretty decent. And the third Nexus does go down about 435. Observers coming out after the Warp Prism. Okay, so Clem wants to pressure. He's got to be a little wary of that drop coming back, and he's leaving just 2 Stalkers to defend. And indeed, the drop will be coming back around that north side. Back at home for GUMIHO, he's got 1 tank, and he is building a second. So he's committing to tank. He's also got... Oh, it's the double reactor play! It's the old school GUMIHO build, guys. This is a fierce Marine tank pressure, but he's going to lose the Cyclone unless he isn't. 1 hit point Cyclone gets out of there. With this build, guys, you make both upgrades consecutively from a single tech lab. It has a very early power spike where you have an insane Marine count with 3 tanks. Notice he's not even got a reactor. Just building medevacs 1 at a time. He doesn't have a lot of healing, but oh, he's going to lose a tank. The Marines do some pretty good damage, though. I think that was 2 Stalkers for a tank. Usually a very good trade to do that, but he does take a lot of damage across those Stalkers. So it depends on what happens next here with his micro. Oh, he blinks forward. Crazy person. He does bait a Stim. And remember, there's not many medevacs, but I think those Marines will catch up. Oh, Clem, he's unloading Stalkers and loading the ones at the back into the front. And he immediately re-engages. The micro, the multitasking, the balls on this kid are insane. Most players just run away in that situation, but he doesn't. Combat Shields is now on the way. More Marines coming out. There's only 1 tank right now. This is a problem. You're normally meant to do a 3-tank push, guys. And he's going to make it a 1-tank army. The Stalkers find a tank. Clem is a freak. He's going Templar Archives. He wants to play Psystorm, guys. He should actually probably play Armor, in my opinion. But he's got 12 Stalkers, so he's deciding to go for this. He's going to pick off a Marine. He wants the Reactor. Looks like he's not going to be able to get it. But with the pickups, pulls back to the low ground, doesn't lose any units, gets a few more Marines. Clem is simply out multitasking a very static style of GUMIHO. But wait, GUMIHO, he was waiting for a long time. He waits for the probes to rally over, and that is the counterattack that Clem was not expecting. He was microing on the front. He loses a Stalker there, and his Stalker's going to come over to defend, but probes and Stalkers not really a match for Stim Marines. The probes aren't even fighting. I feel like the probes probably should have fought there. These Stalkers, they misblinked. They misblinked there. He needs to get down there, mate. Lots of probes going down at the same time, trying to reclaim control of the high ground. That Cyclone hanging out still on 1 hit point. Oh, look at that. Gets lots of damage across those Stalkers. Here comes the push. This is a Marine all-in with a single tank and a single Cyclone. You need Psystorm, but you don't have it. Clem does not have it. SCVs are being pulled. GUMIHO was getting mauled in this early game, but Clem is a bit too slow to charge, a bit too slow to storm. He needs to buy time, and that means he's got to give up his third. If he gives up his third, he's good, but he doesn't know about the SCV pool. Giving up your third feels terrible against a 2-base Terran. He doesn't know about the SCVs, which means it's going to be really hard for him to make that decision. But if he fights pre-storm, he's dead, guys, and he needs 30 seconds. GUMIHO is not going to give him 30 seconds right now. You cannot fight over here, Clem. You need to run away to your natural. He abandons ship. Great call. He needs to build more pylons, though. Otherwise, he's going to get supply block. Stalker's pulling back. Storm getting chronoed one more time. It's 15 seconds away. He's got to pull back. He's already taken a lot of damage. A few good storms could do it, but look at the position for GUMIHO. If GUMIHO realizes what's happening and spreads his Marines, he'll be fine. But if he takes 1 or 2 big storms to the face, it could be game-ending. High Templar coming forward. High Templar coming forward. He's only got 1 inside the prism right now. The High Templar looking for the storms. Look at the pre-spread for GUMIHO. He's going to spread these units out as best he can. I wouldn't mind him even sending his SCVs home, potentially. He's trying to build bunkers out front. Cyclone there. Storm comes in. Decent first storm. Second storm doesn't really land. Good pullbacks right now. Great storm on the south, but he needs one more. Where's the energy recharge? He doesn't use the energy recharge. Clem under pressure here in the heat of the moment. One more storm here would have been game-changing. Oh no, he doesn't use the energy recharge. Runs out of storms. And GUMIHO manages to finish it. Look at how close that was. Look at how close it... Guys, he's got half his SCVs on the front line. GUMIHO's natural's got 8 workers on it. He's so committed right now. He's so very committed, but look at the dodges on the storms, not to mention the pre-splits, and really nice play, especially for a guy who had so few medevacs. The Stalkers did take care of the tank. 1 more storm, a few more Zealot Warpins. Clem floating a bit of money. He's only on 6 gateways as well, not 8 gateways. Beautiful counterattack timing for GUMIHO. I would, if I go back in this game to like 6.5 minutes before those Marines ran in the third, I would have put money on Clem very heavily. It really looked like he was outplaying GUMIHO, especially after getting the first tank, right? 2 Stalkers for that first tank really opened up the opportunity to be so annoying with his Stalkers. The medevacs had no energy. Like, GUMIHO was so all in. He's already doing a single starport medevac production play. But these Marines coming in really distracted Clem. And not only does it do damage, as I said, it distracts him and it delays him starting Storm. He could have already started Storm at this point, guys. But look at how long Storm... Like let's look at... Like, Storm could have technically started right on 6 minutes 32. 31, 32. Let's say 32. He doesn't end up starting it because of that Marine drop until about 6:44. You might think, oh, it's only 12, 13 seconds. It's a big difference. We saw this push. Imagine if that's 12 or 13 seconds sooner. I also think he could have chronoed it just a little bit more. He's done a really good job at spending his energy, though. He was very low on energy on the Nexus, which is part of the problem here. Definitely would have liked to see him refilling these High Templar on energy a little bit earlier as well. And if you use that energy recharge, it takes a High Templar that has 50 energy to 150, potentially can give you 2 storms, especially if you warp in a High Templar for it. I understand why he was making Archons just to get some combat units out, but damn, what a narrow victory for GUMIHO. Really clutch for GUMIHO, though. If he went down 0-2, that would be a disaster. And he's doing it again. That's right. 3 games in a row. Is Clem just full-on committed at this point? It feels like when you get down to match point, there's going to be that voice in your head that says, go back to your main race. Go back to Terran. Play it safe. But, I mean, he lost in the TvT earlier to GUMIHO. That last game was nail-bitingly close. Clem may just commit 100% to Protoss. We'll see how it goes. Top right side, GUMIHO here, going to be going for a gas first. Often pairing that with an engineering bay block do players, but GUMIHO is just going to play it blind, I believe. And I think no SCV scout gas first is a very good build, assuming you don't get caught off by like a proxy gate or something. Builds which are not in the meta and very rare for someone like Clem to do that. A good point from Twitch chat, someone said, you know, if Clem hit his High Templar for a bit longer and GUMIHO didn't know that it was Storm, because he had no idea it was Storm until the High Templar kind of just waddled up next to the Nexus, he could have just shown it in the Warp Prism. And GUMIHO would have been way more stacked up with his Marines and SCVs, and probably would have taken bigger storms and potentially lost the game on the first engage. I agree. I think I agree. Yeah, I do think the delay on the storm mattered, but and that's part of why he was kind of so panicky and showing his High Templar. But definitely interesting to see how it goes. A few more gateways would have helped, but always hard to put those down when you're dealing with such a committed push. And I'll tell you, that GUMIHO style, he doesn't do that very much anymore. He did that a lot when he first came back from his military service, that double reactor stim marine tank push. But he stopped doing it specifically because it has such a drastic fall off in strength. If you lose your tanks and they have a Colossus out, you're just dead, right? You just cannot do anything against Colossus without the siege tanks killing the Colossus, right? Your Marauder production is like 1 Marauder at a time, so you don't even build any Marauders in the early game. It's just an awkward transition to a more normal game position. So whenever GUMIHO wouldn't find damage with that sort of build, previously, he'd often lose. Like, he'd either win with the push, decent win percent, doesn't win with the push, loses most of the time. So that's why that build is something I haven't seen from him in a little while, but he said, hey, I don't know if Clem's going to know how to deal with it. The double reactor, you know, allows you to just pump out so many Marines off 3 barracks. Great. Does anyone know what is Marine Lord's top rate on SC2? Top rank? If you just look up a Ligulac Marine Lord, you can probably find his all-time high. Marine Lord got 2nd or 1st. Did he win? He versus Nurtio, or did Nurtio beat him? He played a finals the first time when he said, oh, I'm kind of retiring, you know, StarCraft's like, I don't think it's for me anymore. It was his... A lot of players do this, they say they're going to retire, and then they get their best performances ever. Marine Lord had that back in 2016, I want to say. 2017, one of those years. Somewhere around that time. And yeah, like he had some really great moments, especially whenever he was memeing, doing fun creative builds rather than just playing standard. That's when Marine Lord looked like his best. And he was a very good player for a while. But obviously focused on dominating Age of Empires these days. Oh, the Reaper gets in and gets out. Gets a probe kill as well. The Adept's going to try and hunt it down. One on the high ground, one on the low ground. The Reaper gets back. Cyclone building. So GUMIHO's enjoying this kind of super safe high ground command center. Is there a chat command to find players' ladder rankings? No. The problem, you can't... Ladder doesn't really matter that much. A lot of the players, it's hard to do because Grandmaster, you need to play enough games to get ranked in it. A lot of pro players either leave league or they play across a few different accounts. So the ladder ranking is not nearly as important as looking at the actual MMR of the players. Like a lot of the time, the top guys like Clem and Cyril aren't actually in Grandmaster. But if you look at their MMR, I'm not sure if there's a website that shows it. Maybe someone could link that up and let people know about it. But for now, guys, looks like Marine Tank. Dude, this is committed. Dude, this is super committed. He's just going to... What's it? Liberator next? He's low on gas. He might build a Liberator next out of that. So this is just like a Marine tank push. Building tanks after Cyclone. 8 Marine Cyclone pressure. And what's the build here? 2-gate Robo into a 3rd. Oh, Clem, don't do it. You got to build a 3rd gateway. Oh, he's got a 3rd gateway, actually. He's playing 3-gate Blink, which is pretty safe. But look at that. Cyclone gets a pick off on the Adapt. 3rd Nexus going down. Clem has no idea what's happening. This build is so blind, guys. It's so blind. Look at that. Marine drops heading towards the main while the Cyclone and the Reaper distract. Get the Reaper out of there. Reaper's going to die. Cyclone does not want to commit. Remember, this is a fragile Cyclone. Marine drop hidden inside the main base. Clem's aware that this is a threat right now, but he moves away. No, he pulls back. He's got to be here to defend, and indeed he is. GUMIHO, I would just run away if I was him. Yeah, good call. Loses a Marine and just says, okay, nope, get out. But look at this, guys. He's got a tank building, a 2nd tank. He's building Vikings. Wow, Vikings. I mean, they're way lower gas than Liberators, and you land them, and it's like a budget Marauder. They're quite good at killing Stalkers. So I actually don't mind the Viking there. Obviously, if it turned out to be Stargate, it would be very helpful as well. He's just going to go for this super committed push. Also, look at this. Oh, he's waiting for the Stalkers to push. He's going to land a tank shot, and then he's going to come in from behind with the Marines. Those Marines need to move up to the left very quickly, though. I think Clem's going to blink away very fast. Clem's reaction speed is kind of insane. The tank's just unsieged. So yeah, he gets out. Good pullback for Clem. Clem knows there's some naughty business coming. He's got a Forge on the way. He's trying to chrono boost charge. He's on 3 gateways with 2 more building. He needs to keep making gateways, even in the midst of dealing this, which is so hard to do. Oh, the medevac! The medevac goes down. Doesn't quite split fire to kill the Cyclone straight away. Does lose his Observer, but great micro. He's only lost 1 Adept and his Observers. The Stalkers can slow this push down. Very committed push for GUMIHO. Doesn't quite get the tank fully off. This is where I think Clem needs to go around with his entire army. He was expecting GUMIHO to unsiege there. He keeps expecting GUMIHO to unsiege. GUMIHO does unsiege, but GUMIHO actually pulls back. 2nd and 3rd barracks coming up. Engineering bay as well. GUMIHO's trying to set up an ambush. GUMIHO's no longer committing. He's been building workers the whole time. I think he's going to start a 3rd command center behind this. He's going to give up on killing Clem right here. Clem going to go around. I'd love to see these Stalkers loop all the way around and hit that natural. Cut off the rally, because right now, if your opponent's screwing around like this, you can punish them super hard by just counterattacking. If you play too scared, this is where this works well for GUMIHO. Look at the way GUMIHO is just pulling back little by little, trying to set up these little ambushes in the middle of the map. If you stumble into them, he might get a few Stalker kills, but now he's backing away. New Observer comes out. Clem finally, with a bit more vision on the map, is going to give him some confidence. 2 more gateways come down. That'll take it to 7. He's got a 3rd base fully saturated. This was a good, effective defense. GUMIHO did not find enough damage. Similar to game 1, he finds himself trailing. 3rd command center is going to go down there, though. But look at the economy disadvantage. Starting a 3rd when your opponent's already on 60, Clem can take a 4th. He's going to move up here and build a pylon for now. He's got Stalkers that could pressure. Look at that tank wedge, though. You have to be really cautious of this tank wedge. Vikings take out an observer. Those 3 tank shots can one-shot stalkers. GUMIHO's going to have to just chill out for a minute here. He's hoping to catch a warp prism with the Vikings. Shouldn't send them too far out, though. Just chill there is probably the best idea. I like that Clem's playing a bit more defensive now, not presenting his units for easy snipes. He's going to go Robo Bay, usually with the 4th gas as well as Robo Bay goes together with the Max Banks build, and that's exactly what he's doing. Drop going around the north side. Just 8 Marines. Stim and Shields will finish. He could try to cancel a 4th. Looks like he won't be able to get into a 3rd. Maybe the best bet is just to stim into the 4th, maybe a minute from now, catch some workers, and then run away. Here we go, guys. Marine does get focused. Good medevac micro to dodge a little bit for GUMIHO. And GUMIHO gets spotted by a single probe. Good attention to detail. You should just leave now, GUMIHO. 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 What are we doing? Dangerous, man. Super dangerous. Get out of there. Those stalkers are hunting. Barely gets out of here. That's so dangerous. No, wait, he's going to lose it. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, he sees the stalkers. Remember, medevacs have really good sight range, so they can often see further than the enemy. Does pull it back to safety. Well done. Marine Marauder tank coming out to the 3rd. GUMIHO is down 10 workers, but his 3rd is at least now landed. He can secure this position. Widow Mines out front. Marauders, Marines, and Mines coming forward. Those Mines a bit too far forward, though. Burrows them kind of late. Then again, the Widow Mines didn't actually die. Does get those Widow Mine shots to fire. Nice micro by Clem at the same time. Zealot drop in the left side. The right side of that base. The Zealot drop doing really well here. Not many units to defend. Unfortunately, the wall-off is delaying those Zealots getting in unless they get microed further. Tanks still defending the 3rd base. Zealots on the natural. 13 workers are down. Even more are going to fall before this is over. 16, 17 workers potentially going down. Widow Mine gets a good shot there. These Widow Mines on that left side still have not been taken out. And I think, did he just lose his Warp Prism, guys? No, where is it? Warp Prism did just recall home. But 19 SCVs, a massive amount of economic damage. Clem has more Colossus building. He's got a Dark Shrine on the way. 4 probes at a time building. He's already at 68 versus 39. He does not need more probes. Clem, he's let the army slip by him. He should send a few Zealots into that 3rd. Indeed, he's going to, realizing GUMIHO's left that unguarded. GUMIHO going for a bit of a crazy move forward, but I think it's the right thing to do. Your worker count sucks. You're not going to rebuild your workers. Just go kill him. And if you can win this fight, that's all that matters. Your bad worker count won't matter if you can take the fight to the Protoss right here, right now. 1 tank goes down almost immediately. The Colossus, the Zealots marching forward. The tanks are all gone. There's another Colossus in the top side. It's a little exposed there, guys, but he's going to hold the push, and that's all that matters. Clem with a 2-1 advantage in PvT. His first time playing Protoss in a grand finals. This is an awesome start to the finals for Clem. All right. Clem is sticking with it. He's going to go Protoss on Amygdala. It's a big map. Takes a while for rushes to get across. Good drop paths. Frontal pushes, though, much slower to get across. GUMIHO says, instead of getting across the map, though, how about I build my barracks on your side? GUMIHO sending one of his first workers across for the proxy barracks. GUMIHO down 1-2. Now, remember, if he loses this series, he still has a best of 3, right? Because he's in the upper bracket. He beat Clem earlier in this tournament. Some people, that really rubs them wrong. They go, well, this is so unfair. You gotta go, guys. GUMIHO hasn't lost a series in the whole tournament. Clem has. Clem wasted his life up against GUMIHO as well. I think it would be grossly unfair if you didn't have a format like this. Clem already beat GUMIHO in a best of 5. The fact that now, it's like if Clem won a best of 5, he wins the tournament would be kind of silly, right? So I actually like this format if you're going to do double elim. I don't think you need to do double elim, but if you're going to do double elim, give players second chances. I do like it to be balanced out. And there we go. Clem's going to scout, and he's like, okay, I'm getting proxied. Core before Nexus at about 1:23. Not pulling off minerals onto gas at all, guys. Indicating he's not planning to do Stargate. That makes sense, right? He said he's a big fan of Max Packs. He likes playing PvT the way Max Packs does. And honestly, yeah, predictable Twilight Blink, probably 3-gate Robo, right? The most solid play. I don't think Clem is going to be out here saying, let's vary my opening up. I think he's going to do the exact same middle-of-the-road safe build because he's doing well with it. And why stop? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep going 3-gate Blink every game, and we'll see how we go. Here we go, guys. Reaper's coming forward. See if he's got that Max Pax probe micro. Max Pax is so good at not losing probes in these situations. Oh, but he exposed a weak one at the front, and GUMIHO takes advantage. You don't want to lose, like, Max Pax often usually loses none there. Clem only lost one. That's still a good hold. In my opinion, that's still fine. Losing a probe, like, look at this. The barracks now has to float all the way home, which means you don't have a reactor building. Your command center is also delayed because you've gone for the factory, but what can you do off the factory? Make a tech lab, then make a cyclone? I mean, there's just not that much you can do with this. He's going to start a second barracks. Wow. Okay. I mean, this is always weaker because you got to float this first barracks home, but he's going to go 3 barracks, no starport, perhaps. He could do a no stim push. He doesn't have to, but it's an option. No stim pushes. Sorry, not no stim. I meant no medevac. No medevac push hits like a brick. You just have so many units so early, but the brick crumbles very quickly. Every stim you do is so painful. Yeah, it's 3 racks. So he's getting a cyclone to deny scouting. Normally, you want to put one of these barracks on this tech lab because you don't want to keep building tanks this early. You won't have enough money for 3 barracks production and tanks, especially with such a delayed command center. On the other side, second gateway going up in the natural wall. We expect a robo to go here. Third gateway probably goes up in the main base as well. And of course, that blink gets chrono boosted. 2 stalkers and an adapter out. And the cyclone's going to run forward for a little bit of pressure. See if it can pick off an adapter or a stalker, perhaps. The threat of this old tech lab cyclone is very real. Aren't most double elimination tournaments organized so you can only get to the finals if you haven't lost? No, that's the upper bracket finals. And then you go to the grand finals, and then the players who both get to the very final round of the losers bracket, they play the losers finals, and the winner of that gets here to this match. So Clem just won the losers finals, and now he's into the final. The final. The grand finals. Yeah. Stalker's coming forward. Reaper's going to be pulling back. Oh, fourth barracks? Oh my god. Holy mother of all ins. Guys, the problem is, if he just goes mass marine and you're going charge instead of Colossus or Storm, this is really hard to beat. He's going to have 2 tech labs, 2 reactors. Oh my lord, he's going to have such crazy numbers. Dude, this is such an all-in. Look, he's already cut workers. GUMIHO is all in. GUMIHO is said, I'm done with I'm cutting workers half the time. It's not about worker production. This is about having a ridiculous army with no fallback, no healing, nothing. He is as all in as they come. This observer, if GUMIHO scans this observer and it doesn't see the extra barracks, it's lights out for Clem. There is no way you can defend this if you don't know what's coming. Even as it is, he's going to go the standard Max Pax build, charge, +1 attack, 8 gateways before going for that. And look, GUMIHO's watching. GUMIHO's watching. I mean, you see tanks, you see Marines. It looks a little suspicious. I don't know if it's enough to really make Clem wonder, though. Oh, you can see GUMIHO knows that observer's there. Clem knows he knows it's there, so he can't see the 4 barracks. This is huge. This is absolutely massive. Stalkers will be on the front. There's a Reaper coming in. That's going to distract him a little bit. But as I said, he's going to go... he's on 3 gates. He's going to go to 5. And he's going to build 3 more gateways before going for 4th gas and Robo Bay. That's what Max Pax does every single time. Observer sees the move out. Okay, at this point, you know. At this point, you know. Nothing but gateways. Stop building probes. 3 more gateways and nothing but zealots and a sentry. He needs a sentry for Guardian Shield. He's forgotten to make a sentry, guys. Guardian Shield is essential against a mass marine push. You know the boys are probably going to get pulled with this as well. It's so all in for GUMIHO. 6 marines, 1 tank building at a time. He is so committed to this. He's got to stop Protoss from harvesting all the minerals off that 3rd and getting up to splash damage. And it looks like he should be able to. Stalker does take some damage there. Cyclone comes forward, gets a bit of damage as well. There is no sentry. Without a sentry, I don't think you can defend this. With a Guardian Shield, I think you can. Charge, a few seconds away. He's going to try and YOLO these tanks. If he can get all the tanks with the first charge attack, it should be fine. But that's a big if. 1 Stalker goes down. Battery trying to heal these Stalkers. Charge is almost ready. Clem thinking about going for it. Probes. He's going to go for it. If he can get rid of all the tanks, it'll be good. No flank, though. Notice how all the Zealots charge on the front. The Stalker's trying to spread out. 1 tank goes down. The Marines are so good at clearing the Zealots. Marines counter Zealots so nicely. Even with a little bit of splash damage getting dragged onto the Marines. Clem getting overrun. Trying to build an Immortal. Trying to make more units. The Immortal, I don't think will help. The Sentry now coming in. The tanks, honestly, probably would have focus fired the Guardian Shield. GUMIHO is on point right now. Even if Clem used Guardian Shield, I think he probably gets focused down. This is an amazing push for GUMIHO. And if you don't have splash damage, that Marine count is so good at dealing with Zealots. It's so very good. I think you have to cut off the reinforcement with this sort of build. I think with GUMIHO's build, it's so committed. If you cut off the reinforcement, you can take it out, but otherwise you can't. Like, you have to go around, blink across these rocks in the middle or something, and blink behind him. Because coming from one side, I just don't think you have the numbers. Look, the Marines are going to gun down these Zealots. The tanks keep focusing the range units so they don't do friendly fire. The Immortals and Zealots pulling back. Clem, he's trying to rebuild his third in the north, but he just doesn't have the numbers. He's got 9 gateways, but he's only on 2 base minerals. He's got 800 gas, no Templar archives, so he can't spend it. If he could make some Archons, maybe. The Immortal does get a shot off, doesn't quite get the second shot off. Remember, that's that attack speed nerf in action. It would have got one more shot off there, I am pretty certain, if it wasn't for that attack speed nerf. Clem, I'm probably still dead, though, even if he got that extra shot off, let's be real. He's in a really bad spot. I mean, to be fair, no, GUMIHO's got Medivacs building now as well, guys. He's got Medivacs coming out of the starport on the reactor. He's swapped that around. He's adding +1 weapons. He could start a 3rd command center soon. He is finally going to get cleaned up on the south side, though. That's a good trade there for Clem. Very nice. Dude, the micro for GUMIHO, though, gets a few extra Marine kills, Zealot kills with those Marines. And he's going to try and back away right now, trying to drop more Marines on the front. He's got these Marines. This is a crazy attack right now for GUMIHO, just continuing to fight with only a handful of units. He might throw away a few too many of these if he's not careful. Tank has to pick up and get out. GUMIHO needs to rally together and group back up. Clem, how are you alive? How? Ladies, can someone... How? He's not even down in workers. How? Clem is a freak. I mean, he's behind 1,800 resources and the unit's lost. But it is Clem. The man has an ability to survive things that I really did not think he was going to be able to. Couple of force fields coming. Doesn't have enough Zealots, though. Oh, if he loses the sentries, it's going to be rough. But he kills a bunch of these Marines. Sentries trying to pull back the way. He's splitting the Marines against the tank fire. If he can take out that tank, which he does, and then get the sentries out, but the Marines are going to chase. He wants the Observer. He wants the sentries. If he can get both sentries, I think it's maybe an okay trade for GUMIHO. He did lose a lot of Marines and a tank. Clem desperately fighting for space. He's making more sentries. RoboBay comes in as well, trying to make him overstim to a certain extent. I like the way Clem keeps fighting here, because he's like, look, I'm going to make you stim yourself to death. I'm not looking to actually fight. I am looking for that. The Stalker Zealot running forwards and back. GUMIHO dancing in and out as well. His 3rd command center is finished. He's equal on workers, which is bad for Clem. Clem is going to need to go really, really nice on the trades. He's got to get out of here. Threatening with the force fields. He lost a Stalker there. Great focus fire for GUMIHO. GUMIHO's got 5 racks. Wait. GUMIHO has 6 barracks. I guess because he's used to doing 3 barracks, so you normally add your 4th and 5th. He's ended up going up to 5th and 6th barracks at the same time. 1 more reactor, 1 more tech lab, so it will be 4 tech labs, 2 reactors. He's also building Widow Mines. The medevac count is now very impressive. They've healed the bio up. 6 medevacs for 7 Marauders, 11 Marines. He just needs to keep that Marine Marauder count as high as possible. That's the one area where GUMIHO is maybe slacking a little bit. His Marine production hasn't been great. He needs to hold down that Marine Marauder key as much as possible. You can see barracks idling here a little bit. Reactor not double producing Marines. GUMIHO, this is a fundamental little basic mistake he's making right now. I feel like I'm watching my own play for a second there. GUMIHO, you're not going to be Clem if you make mistakes like that in the grand finals, mate. But there we go. He's back on point. Now he's doing it well. Now he's doing it really well. And there's no Colossus. It's about to pop out. It does not have extended thermal lance. 3rd base is in the open. If you get rid of this 3rd, you've got the game in the bag. Force fields trapping the bio. But the boost saves most of them. 2 Marauders do go down. Colossus comes forward. More force fields trapping a few more Marauders up front. The Marauders not really dying very quickly, but the +2 Colossus actually adding a fair bit of damage. If it can land hits on the Marines, it'll get rid of them. One of the medevacs goes down as well. Don't chase. No, Clem. Bad blink forward. Clem clicks with his important thing. And he gets his important thing snipped off. That was such a big mistake. No, he just threw away his sentries and stalkers. He has energy recharge back in 30 seconds. He can't be affording to throw away units like that. Those sentries and stalkers are so important. That's a problem. You've got to keep it in your pants a little bit. Continually forcing fights is good, but not blinking forward. Force him to stim, blink away. Force him to stim, blink away. That's the way to do it. Zealot's going to try and go around the right side, or at least one of them is. Observer pulling back, Doom Drop coming forward. Oh, GUMIHO might not realize he's being spotted. If you can intercept this with Mass Stalker and take out 1 or 2 of the medevacs, it could be huge. 3 Stalkers, it's enough to 2-shot now. He's going to have 5 Stalkers there. Ah, but the Zealots spot it, which is actually bad for Clem, because otherwise he might have been able to intercept these full medevacs while they were still loaded. Zealot goes around that right side. 2-1 upgrades on the way for GUMIHO. He's rounding out his play now. 3 Marauders building, 2 Vikings. He's got the answers, right? Right now he's a little low on Vikings for the Colossus, but being at a pretty good spot. I mean, he's only 50 workers. Just the supply looks so bad. Clem just confidently taking a 4th in the midst of everything else that was going on. What? I don't even know when he took this. I just know that he's been in danger of dying for the last 5 minutes, and he somehow took a fourth and saturated it during all this. That is disrespectful almost. This is like that Max Pax level of like, I don't give an F, I'm just going to fight. But oh no, CLEM! Colossus in the open, the Marauders are going to dive. The Marauders are going to take it out. That Colossus gets blasted. Oh, that is so unfortunate. You cannot afford a mistake like that. Not at this point. Now you've got a Marauder flank handily there, hanging out, looking fantastic. And the Colossus, and the second one goes down. Third one behind the mineral line. Probes forced into the fight. Zealots are coming in right now. But you can see that GUMIHO's supply is miles ahead. The Vikings, can they take care of the Colossus before the Stalkers take them down? Yes, they can. The Marauder Marine Medevac doing well. It's 2-1 upgrades to just +2. And GUMIHO, man, he had to work for it here on Amygdala, didn't he? But what a close back and forth game. Crazy big Marine tank push earlier. CLEM weathering the storm, surviving for a long, long time. Way longer than I thought he would. But at the end of the day, GUMIHO is going to force Game 5. All right. GUMIHO in Game 5 in the top left of Abyssal Reef. It's an oldie. It's a big map with some cramped choke points on it. And in the bottom right, giving the people what they want, the HomeStory Cup crowd was going absolutely ham at this moment, picking Protoss even in the deciding Game 5 when he's on elimination point. He was up 2-1 earlier. It's now tied up 2-2. Let's see if CLEM can hold on and close this series out. Now, GUMIHO has been throwing the kitchen sink at him, playing really aggressively. And I imagine CLEM's just going to play the same sort of like 3-gate, blink robo. But you know what would actually be genius here, guys? If he just had a little Max Angel on his ear, whispering and saying, why don't we just build a sentry? Energy recharge exists. Stop doing Max Pax crap builds from before the patch. I'm going to be honest, guys. Max Pax is so slow to innovate. Yes, his builds were good pre-patch. They're not good anymore. If you just add a sentry in, you can scout at 4 minutes and see exactly what's coming your way. 3:30, even better. But we haven't seen that. It's always, no, I need one more Stalker. And I'm just going to take a third base blind. I want to see CLEM maybe even do a robo opening. What Hero would do here against an aggressive player, he'd open robo first, get 2 to 3 observers out, and he'd probably play 2-base storm charge, right? That ambush style, where if the Terran tries to take a third, you just dive on it. If they do a big push, you just dive on their army. And those would be really cool options. Now, GUMIHO's going to play double gas again. So once again, a very tech-heavy, up in the main base, sort of safe opening. We'll see if he thinks about being a bit riskier and building a command center on the natural this time around. I wouldn't imagine it. I think he's probably just going to go reactor and command center up on the high ground, but we'll find out. CLEM pulling off minerals onto gas. Why is he... Oh, he keeps microing his probes. You'll see his number gets lower, guys. And it's because he's clicking his probes and he's manually telling them to speed up their mining using shift clicks. Oh, of course he is. Even in the grand finals playing his off race, you could see he was constantly... What he was doing is he's grabbing his probes and he was saying, move to next to the nexus, then return the minerals. And he was grabbing a probe and saying, after you return the minerals, move next to the minerals, then start mining them. And what it does is it minimizes the deceleration of the probes to give him a couple more minerals in the early game. Harston has said it's a really good early game to just build a habit of if you're a pro player. But in a moment of honesty, he also said that he probably does more harm than good with it since he's not as consistent as CLEM, and he probably hurts his mining more than he actually helps it. Not sure if he was just being humble or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if for most players that's the case. Reaper comes in, guys. He just shaded the second Adept out, and there's nothing there. That Adept needs to go home. He's lucky GUMIHO didn't go in and kill a probe or two. Command center on the high ground, Starport coming in. It's a Cyclone opening again. Cyclone, I do like that GUMIHO is kind of shutting down scouting with the Cyclone, making it hard for CLEM to know what's going on. But I really do feel two-gate Blink Robo, great opening. Showtime and Estrella have played a lot of this patch, and they are both really good at using hallucinations recently to see what's going on. So that's what I'd love to see from CLEM here. Robo should be going down in a moment. There we go. Robo comes in, and third gateway, I would imagine in the main, is going to be next after this pylon. Now it's going to be straight into tank medevac, guys. This looks very similar to one of those early games, right? Where he was just building Marines, tanks, medevacs. We'll see. Does he build the Viking like on Snowpiercer? Yeah, it's the Snowpiercer / Frostline build. Sorry, we changed the map name to Frostline. Viking Marine tank push. It didn't do that well on Frostline. On this map, can it find more success? There is a crazy choke point here. Apparently a tank there can actually shoot your probes as well, which is kind of crazy. Though it will be hard to defend that from just stalkers on the ledge. Blink is on the way. He's going to move out to take a third base. No scouting. This is what I'm talking about, guys. CLEM has no idea what's going on. We're on CLEM's camera right now. He sees, okay, he sees it. He sees it. Marine drop comes in. Cyclone as well. He doesn't know that there's tanks coming out behind this and Vikings, though. For now, this could just be an opening pressure. Adept's going to get caught out there. Let's go back to everyone's vision, and that's a shutdown Adept. Tank, is it moving forward? It is. He's building more tanks. More tanks, more Marines as well. And these Stalkers, they don't quite have Blink yet. Hard to break the lock on. He's already lost an Adept. Hasn't done much damage. He's only killed one Marine for an Adept. An Adept and a Stalker, both very weak. Building an Observer right now because he does not know that there's a tank push. Otherwise, he'd be building an Immortal. This position is brutal. This position is absolutely brutal. You do not want your buildings exposed at the front on this map. And this is why. But it's a brand new map. Clem does not have a lot of experience here. And GUMIHO is looking to punish him. Blink's almost ready. I think maybe just give up this area, let him come a bit closer. But he sees the Unsiege, or at least he guesses that there's an Unsiege. He didn't see it, but he guessed it. Oh, but the pickup! The Unsiege allowing GUMIHO to do some very fancy micro, and he slaughters the units. The tank finally goes down through the repair, but at what cost? 5 Stalkers in the depth for a single siege tank. That is a massacre. Clem getting his probes destroyed. He knows he can't afford to lose his robo. He's down to 2-gate production. He A-moves the probes. The Stalker's still trying to micro, but GUMIHO just jams in a fast Cyclone Marine into tank push off a double gas opening, and Clem, he was taking a third base blind yet again, being too greedy. He's got to be using a hallucination scout, I think, before planning for that third. You guys have to realize, if we look at this build, guys, even if he doesn't pull SCVs, the expansion is so late. When a Terran does these double gas builds, they allow themselves to have way more aggressive options at their disposal, but they're also putting themselves behind economically. You can afford to go 4-gate blink against this, right? You can afford to do a 2-base opening. You saw that it was double gas early on. He should have known what was happening here with the vision that he had. He should have seen these guys mining gas, even though he didn't see the refinery itself. So I'm sure he knew it was double gas, and he could have played a safer build. Unfortunate for Clem, but hats off to GUMIHO, dude. Would have been embarrassing losing to Clem's off race. On the other hand, we all know that Clem has actually been dominating the ladder. We just got word that Clem beat Cyril in 2 ladder games of ZVP today. That's right. He Protoss vs Zerg beat Cyril twice on the ladder today, just a few days after this tournament was played. So I don't know if it's that embarrassing to lose to Clem's Protoss. The same way Raynor almost beat Dark in a grand finals for a $10,000 tournament in PvZ as well. I feel like these guys are just built of different stuff. Clem looking like one of the best Protoss players in the entire world right now. And just fantastic play. GG, well played though. GUMIHO gets his second HomeStory Cup championship. And this time, much stiffer opposition. Last time, there weren't that many top pros there. This time, you got Maru, Cyril, all the tops. And GUMIHO comes out on top of that. That's impressive. That's really, really cool to see. GG, well played, GUMIHO.